بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد قال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وقال الثالث اللهم إني استأجرت وجراء فأعطيتهم أجرهم غير رجل واحد ترك الذي له وذهب فثمرت أجره حتى كثرت منه الأموال فجاءني بعد حين فقال يا عبد الله أدي إلي أجري فقلت له كل ما ترى من أجرك من الإبل والبقر والغنم والرقيق فقال يا عبد الله لا تستهزئ بي فقلت إني لا أستهزئ بك فأخذه كله فاستاقه فلم يترك منه شيئا اللهم فإن كنت فعلت ذلك ابتغاء وجهك فافرج عنا ما نحن فيه فانفرجت الصخرة فخرجوا يمشون أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم الخير بك نستعين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم إنا نسألك الإخلاص والتوفيق والقبول اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك والنار. The dua of the third individual was being discussed, and the lesson that we learn, one of the lessons that we learn is about amanat, about trust. Hazrat Mufti Taqi Uthmani Damat Barakatuhum, he explained what amanat and what trust is. He said that when you have bharosa on somebody, when you rely on somebody, so you have something and you present that item, that object, that secret, that speech to another person who's in front of you, having this full trust that the other person will fulfill his rights, he will take care of that item, he will keep that secret a secret, he will not share what was discussed in the gathering to anybody outside the gathering, and he will keep it as is, he will not violate the rights of that trust. Then through the tafsir, and we mentioned that the amanat and trust is not only related to wealth. There are many categories and many aspects of life fall into amanat. We mentioned about having trust in our gatherings, that whatever was discussed in the gathering should stay in that gathering, unless it had to be mentioned to somebody because the other person was in danger. For example, the group of 4 or 5 people were plotting against somebody to hurt the other person who was absent, and one of the person in the gathering went and told that person that, these are plotting against you and they are making plans to do this and do that, then maybe there may be an option, there may be leniency there. So one was about amanat and trust in a gathering. And we also mentioned about in mashwara, that when a person, he has come forward to consult for a mashwara, then the person who's giving the mashwara also should be trustworthy, should be honest, should be truthful. Now, amanat, as we mentioned, can take many aspects of our life. One aspect of our life it takes is about our body. Our body, our jism, is also an amanat, where some people say, or a group of people say that my body, my choice, my life, my choice. If you think about it, it's very wrong and absurd to say that. When a person says that it's my body, my choice, then how much ownership do you have over your body? Ponder and think. Can you control your own blood? Can you control your own breathing? Are you able to control your own heart? Are you able to control your digestion? Are you able to control your memories? All of these points. So if a person is not able to control any of that, are you able to control your own birth? Are you able to control your own death? None of these are in our control. So this body, this life that we have is a gift, is an amanat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are not the true owners of our body. The true owner is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has entrusted it with our bodies. So now once He has brought us into this world and He has given us life, we have to take care of this body that we've been given. We have to fulfill the rights of the body. the huquq of the body and the rights of the body, we have to make sure that we are fulfilling all the rights. Now, so many discussions can come out of this as well. One of them is about making sure that we don't harm our own body. We don't harm our own body in any way possible. If a person, for example, is not smoking already, it will be, if you can say that, forbidden for him to start smoking. If a person is already smoking, then he has to work on himself how to quit smoking. Like this, suicide again is harming the person's body. It will not be allowed in Islam. So this is an amanah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to make sure that we take care of it. Now, and in this, we also learn from the Quran that the shaitan will try his best to lead people astray. In the 5th juz, in Surah An-Nisa, from ayat number 116, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He talks about shirk, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to forgive shirk. Shirk, making partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If a person doesn't change his belief in aqidah in this world and he goes with this aqidah of shirk in the hereafter, will not be forgiven. Now in the next few verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that the shaitan, he is cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the same time, what did the shaitan say? That he will lead the human being astray. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that وَقَالَ لَأَتَّخِذَنَّ مِنْ عِبَادِكَ نَصِيبًا مَفْرُوضًا. The shaitan says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I will try my best and I will try even more to take a large amount of your servants astray, to lead them astray. وَلَأُضِلَّنَّهُمْ وَلَأُمَنِّيَنَّهُمْ وَلَآمُرَنَّهُمْ فَلَيُبَتِّكُنَّ آذَانَ الْأَنْعَامِ وَلَآمُرَنَّهُمْ فَلَيُغَيِّرُنَّ خَلْقَ اللَّهِ. In the Arabic grammar, the words which have been used are for ta'keed. Ta'keed means to emphasize. So lam and the noon thaqila here are used to bring emphasis. The shaitan is emphasizing in his sentence, in his statement, that I will definitely try my best to lead them astray. And one of the things I will make them do is وَلَآمُرَنَّهُمْ فَلَيُغَيِّرُنَّ خَلْقَ اللَّهِ. That I will put waswasa, I will put thoughts, and I will command them. And what will they do? They will change the creation of Allah. How they have been created, they will change that creation of Allah. So we see this in nowadays, where it has become a norm, it has become common, especially in the people from other faiths, and has been slowly creeping into our young generation as well, where they think that, oh, my nose doesn't look correct, let me change my nose. Or other part of the body doesn't suit me. I want to go through surgery, I want to go through treatment to make it bigger, smaller, larger, thinner, thick, and etc. So this is where the shaitan is. The shaitan is going to put the waswasa and the thoughts. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he mentions, narrated by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, that لَعَنَ اللَّهُ الْوَاشِمَاتِ وَالْمُسْتَوْشِمَاتِ. That Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala curses that person who, especially the women, who practice tattooing. And also those who get themselves tattooed as well. Then he says, وَالْمُتَنَمِّسَاتِ وَالْمُتَفَلِّجَاتِ لِلْحُسَنِ الْمُغَيِّرَاتِ خَلْقَ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. And those people who remove their facial hair, and also those who create between their teeth a space artificially in order to beautify themselves. Or they will change the natural features that have been created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if a person, if a woman, a male or female, falls into any of these categories, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's curses on that person. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam curses in that person. And also Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu said that, why shouldn't I curse that person also? Why? If Allah is cursing, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is also cursing, why shouldn't I curse also? Now obviously this requires a lot of discussion. In short, in the Mufti Ibrahim Desai Sahib Rahmatullahi Alayhi, in his website, there's a discussion on this, where plastic surgery, there's two categories of this surgery that takes place. One is called reconstructive procedure, where a person has some sort of a defect on the face or on the body, and this could be caused because of some infection, some trauma, some disease, naturally something has happened. Now, because of the health of that person, they may go through some surgery. Or the second category is cosmetic surgery procedure, where a person thinks that the shape and the structure of the body, it doesn't suit me, it doesn't look appealing, and doesn't look beautiful, so he's not satisfied with that. So both of these categories, the ulama have mentioned that there are rulings regarding this. Obviously, we have to go into the discussion at the time. You have to consult a doctor, you have to consult an alim at that time. So this is not a ruling, a general ruling for everyone. It depends on the case at that time. So in the first one, where is a reconstructive procedure, where because of some illness, there may be a permissibility because of the medical need. If the person is health is at risk in the future, there may be some health-related issues in the future, then there may be permissibility of going through this surgery. Where the second one, where a person is not happy with his body parts, he or she wants to go through surgery in order to make him herself think that I look beautiful in this way. Again, in this, you're changing the khilqat and the creator of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then this will become impermissible. This will not be permissible to go through such procedure. And going back to what we started the discussion from was amanat. Our body that we have is an amanat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is a trust from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we should be utilizing our body for the right reasons, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as I mentioned, there is so many aspects of life we can discuss in this. If a person becomes a trustworthy person and he is honest, he is the one who is fulfilling the rights of the trust and the amanat. In one hadith, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is speaking about a business person. He says that at-tajiru saduqul amin. When a business person, when a person is in trading, if he has these two qualities, as-saduq al-amin, that he is honest, he is truthful, and he is also trustworthy. In his dealings, in his transactions, everything is clear. He doesn't deceive anybody. Then the reward of this person will be that on the Day of Judgment, ma'an nabiyyin wa siddiqeen wa shuhada. This trader, this businessman, woman, if he has these qualities, then on the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put him into the group of the nabiyyin, the anbiya, the truthful and the shuhada. So imagine how important it is for us to have this quality of being truthful and also being trustworthy. Now, this doesn't mean that the person's rank will be raised to the rank of a prophet. It doesn't mean that. To explain this, it is mentioned that, when the prime minister is traveling from one place to another, those who are his helpers, they also receive the similar treatment as the prime minister does when they are on the journey. So like this, on the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also give time where He will also treat these business men with the similar treatment what He will do with the Anbiya, with the prophets, with the Shuhada and the Siddiqeen. So this is one virtue and one hadith mentioned. In another hadith, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says that لا يجتمع الإيمان والكفر في قلب امرئ. That in one heart of one being, you can't have two things. You can't have Iman and Kufr. So in the heart of a believer, in the heart of a human being is either Iman or is either Kufr. So you can't combine Iman and Kufr together in one heart. Like this, وَلَا يَجْتَمِعُ الْكَذِبُ وَالصِّدْقَ جَمِيعًا. You can't have honesty and dishonesty in one person at the same time. Either he's honest, he's saduq, he's sadiq, he's truthful, or he's a liar. وَلَا تَجْتَمِعُ الْخِيَانَ وَالْأَمَانَةِ جَمِيعًا. Like this, we cannot have a person who is trustworthy and not trustworthy combined together in one person. So you can't have this, either a person is trustworthy or is not trustworthy. There's so many other hadith related to this topic as well. In one hadith, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says that if a person can guarantee me with 6 qualities, if he can guarantee me with 6 qualities, then I can guarantee him with Jannah. And one of them is that وَإِذَا أُتْمِنَ فَلَا يَخُلْ. That when he is entrusted with something, he doesn't betray that trust. He keeps that trust. He keeps that trust. Now, in the hadith we have an example of how much trust a person should have. In the Bukhari Sharif, in the Sahih Bukhari, there's a story mentioned that there was 2 people. One person sold a land to his brother, to another person, Now, when he purchased the land, he dug in the land to build a house, for example. When he dug into the land, he found some treasure there. So the honesty of this person was that he went to this buyer, the person he bought the land from, and he went to return this wealth and this treasure that he found. So the person who sold, the person A who sold the land to the person B, he says, look, I've sold this to you, it's not mine, it's yours now. So the person B says to him that, look, I only bought the land, not what was inside or beneath the land. This belongs to you. So the person A said that actually this is not even mine as well. It doesn't even belong to me as well. Where has it come from? I don't know. So it doesn't even belong to me, so I don't want to take it. The person B is telling the person that you have to take it. Person B is refusing that I don't want to take it. And let's take a pause here for a while. What would be our case? When we sell a house and the person who bought the house is doing the house up and he pull the floorboards out and he finds a bag of some notes. And the person comes to you and says, look, I found a bag of 50 notes and etc. I found gold, a bag of gold. Our shaitan will say something else. Our shaitan will say, no, that was mine. Oh yeah, I remember, I forgot to take it. But this is the honesty that in the time of the Sahaba, in the time of people, even before the Sahaba time as well, they had this honesty. So them two are there's a dispute between them. He's not taking it, the person not taking it. So they take it to a third person to decide what to do. So the third person says that, okay, what we do is that, look, you've got a daughter, you've got a son, let's get them to marry together, and whatever the kharcha, the expenses of the marriage, just use this amount to pay the kharcha off. And the rest, share it between yourselves. So this is a sachai and this is amanat dari that they used to have. So this is one lesson that we learn from the dua of the third individual. Now there's another lesson that we learn from the dua of the third individual is that what was the dua first of all? The third individual made dua that I had a person who used to work for me at the time of collecting his wages. He disappeared, he didn't collect his wage. And I invested this wage, and after some time he came back, and whatever profit I gained through the investment, I gave it to him. And what we learn from this also is that khairun nas man anfa'uhum nas, that the best person amongst you is that one who wants to benefit others the most. You should try your best in every way possible in our life that we are one of those who are beneficial to others. We don't harm anybody physically, verbally, in any way. We don't harm anybody. Wherever we are, we may be at home, we may be at work, we may be at school, we may be in the street, we may be driving. So we should be very careful how we drive. We shouldn't be just parked in the middle of nowhere and having a discussion with somebody in the middle of the road, or we parked in the parking bay in such a way that there's two people's parking spot is taken, or we walk in and we walking in such a way that the other person has to squeeze himself onto the side of the path. So all of these things. So we should be in a way such that we are benefiting the others as much as possible. Hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is that as long as you continue helping the other person, that Allah's help will also be with you. So as long as you continue helping others, Allah's assistance and help will also be with you. So this is one more lesson that we learn from the dua of the third individual. We make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us this quality of having full trust. For example, one other point comes to mind is that somebody has come to work in your home and you make an agreement and you make a contract with this person that, okay, you do task A and B. But when a person starts the task A and B, you realize there's a task C and a D as well. And unless the other person is happy, the builder is happy, and you're going to pay that extra payment, then it's fine. Otherwise, to tell him to complete the task C and D and give him the payment that of a task on A and B will be against this hadith as well. So if you do task C and D, you should also offer something more. That look, you're doing task C and D, here there's an extra payment for you. You should have this as well. So you shouldn't be said that make him do task A and B and C and D, but only pay for task A and B. That shouldn't be happening. We shouldn't be haggling in this way as well. And we should try to be one of those who are benefiting the others as much as possible in every way possible. We make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to bring this quality of trust and being beneficial to others, to have this amanat, trustworthiness in our life. Allahumma ameen. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد وبارك وسلم ربنا ظلمنا انفسنا وان لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكن من الخاسرين. Tomorrow, as you mentioned earlier, is a day where we can bring this sunnah in our life. We can practice upon this sunnah if it is possible for a person to come to the masjid and attend the salah with jama'ah, the person to try to do so. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy upon us and grant us Jannah and protect us from Jahannam, protect us from His anger. Allahumma ameen. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallahumma bihamdik. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.